Hey, Dr. Tom here, and I'm here with one of my all-time favorite humans, Dr. Jonathan Price from Portland, Oregon. Jonathan, uh, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if actually that isn't the Zoom screen behind you because you do take a fair bit of recreation time. But just for the viewer's perspective, Zoom screen, or are you actually in Hawaii?
No, this is a Zoom screen, but this is what goes on in my head all the time. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, just to give people watching this recording some context here, I met Jonathan a few years ago. Well, actually, John, I'll let you tell the story, but the sort of the short version of it is he was considering, selling his practice. We had a discussion, and he said maybe we should have another conversation. So just, you know, I would do it no justice, Jonathan. Just, you know, give us that story. Like, what was going on in your mind that made you reach out in the first place, and then, so how'd that turn out?
um, it was about 3 years ago that you and I met, and I was I was honestly getting a little bit tired of my chiropractic practice. I wouldn't really call it burning out, but I was getting tired, and I was wondering, what's my practice worth? Can I sell it? Can I live off of that? And really be done with the stress of running my practice. And I've been in practice a long time. I've always had a good practice. And so I got online and I did a search for people who could evaluate my practice and give me an idea of what it's worth. Tom, as you know, your name came up, and you were from Canada, but I don't care about that. I figured, you seem like
We're cousins.
a good guy. So I reached out, I gave you a call, and we had a conversation, and um, and I just clicked with you, Tom. And our conversation went from what it would be like to sell the practice, but you kind of inspired me to think about my practice in a different way. And and really through that inspiration, I got really lit up. I had a number of coaches in my life. I wasn't looking for a coach, but I had a good number of coaches over the years. And honestly, none of them have really risen to the mark that I would want to have as a coach. But my conversation with you was completely different. We connected on a whole new level. And you inspired me to stay with my practice. And so I hired you, and um, and and through our training, oh my goodness, my practice has completely been revamped, and and it runs nothing like it's ever run before.
Well, let's talk about that, Jonathan. Right? Let's talk about some specifics. So, like, then and now. Let's talk about it relative to like uh, time. Your time. In office versus and/or your amazing schedule of recreation time on a regular pre-booked level. So let's talk about it in time. Let's talk about it in terms of dollars and also stress, Jonathan. Right? Because as you said, you weren't really burnt out, but you were stressed. You were like, man, it takes a lot of energy to run this business, and I perceive that it doesn't take that much. So let's just try and create some context, Jonathan. Right? So in terms of time, let's talk about time.
My practice was a pretty typical kind of schedule. I was there, 8 to 6, 4.5 days a week. Um, and I was seeing maybe 130 patient visits a week. Good practice, made good money, had several employees. I had hired another doc. By the time I had met you, I had another doc working for me. I was having regular office meetings every week, and they were kind of stressful because I really don't know how to run, or at least didn't know how to run an office meeting, but I would do it. And it was always a point of stress. And I feel like, okay, I got through that meeting. We'll have to do it again next week. And so that was then. That was then.
Now,
Now, now I'm in the office 4 days a week. They're 6-hour shifts. Um, 2 hours each day are set aside for new patients, which we often see 2 new patients each hour. And so I have about 3 and 3.25 hours each day of adjusting. But in my 4 days a week, we're seeing about 230 to 240 patient visits a week in much less time. We have weekly office meetings that we're all excited to be part of. A lot of times we do it by Zoom, so we'll do it from the comfort of our home in the morning before we start our day.
Cool.
And I mean, our days are 8 to 2 twice a week, and the other 2 days are noon to 6. So on the days that we go from noon, like today, it's a Wednesday, we do our meeting in the morning by Zoom. And then we have monthly meetings where we review the goals that we've created. And again, Dr. Tom has taught me how to have put our annual goals together, meet with my team during an annual general meeting, and we create goals for the next year. And we all have a part to play in it. We all take a lead on some goal. And then we review those goals every month and how we're moving those goals forward. And then we have quarterly meetings where we could see how we did for the quarter and how we're moving forward into the next quarter. And then, of course, our annual general meeting. I've never, ever done those, ever. And now I can't even imagine running a practice without doing these. And it didn't just happen overnight. It took a while of working with you to put these things in place, but they did come into place. And now our practice is, we're doing our accelerated team mastery with you on June 4th and 5th. And I just told my team to be prepared to share what you guys know, because I feel like my team is world class and they know exactly what's going on. They know how to run the office. And I told them to be prepared to share what they know, and also to be open to pick up a couple of pearls from the other people who are going to be there, because we run a really, really tight team. And I am making so much more money now than I ever have before. I'm breaking records right and left. We're having record numbers of new patients every month. And practice is actually so much fun. So, Tom, I have to thank you again for kind of saving me from making a big mistake. And I'm very, very grateful for the inspiration that you've given me.
Well, and it's there's an old saying, John, that's when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? So I it was the right place, right time, and I've said this many times, John, but I mean, you're just absolutely one of the favorite people. I've been at this almost 25 years. One of the favorite people I've ever worked with, because you're very coachable, right? You're very open to possibilities and new ways of doing things. And as you said, it didn't happen overnight. We've been working together for a few years now, but we certainly saw like changes, and it's become one of our sort of like in jokes, Jonathan, right? Is like, damn, we broke another record, another financial record, revenue record, or profit record, or new patient record, or whatever, right? It's almost a monthly thing now to see that happen, which is just spectacular, right? And then on the personal side, Jonathan, right? I mean, there's some things that having the extra time and focus and using core values as a yardstick for what you focus on, what your priorities are. So just now you and your beautiful wife Ulissa take how many holidays a year, Jonathan, and how often do you do that, just for clarity?
Yeah, just to step back a little bit, one of the exercises you had me do was to figure out what my values are. And we went through a big discovery of everything we do in life, we do because of our value system. If you don't know what your value system is, you're doing things that don't support what's important to you. So I got very clear on what my values are. And one of them that I discovered is freedom is really important for me. And so what we've done now that my practice runs so well and is so profitable, I work for 6 to 7 weeks in the practice, and then we take 10 days off. And we go to my second home in Tucson, Arizona, and it's nestled up against the mountains, and it's peaceful and it's quiet. And we spend 10 days enjoying the fruits of our labor for the last 6 to 7 weeks. So we just got back from our vacation this past Sunday. And now we're excited. We've got 6 to 7 weeks of great practice, of record breaking. I mean, May is going to be a record breaking month. It's going to be my
For
biggest.
sure it is.
Yeah, it's great. And then we have another 10 days to take off. So every 6 to 7 weeks, we take 10 days off. I would have never, ever been able to think I could do that. And now when I recruit another associate in here, I'll be able to take longer vacations as well. So
Yeah, absolutely.
things are working well.
Things are working very well. And I know we're a little bit tight on time, Jonathan, right? But I know you also had picked up the piano, which was one of your things you used to love to do years ago, and you had the time to get back to playing the piano. I know in a recent conversation we had, or an email you sent me, you're in like some of the best shape you've been in your adult life, right? Because you're able to, again, through your values, make your workouts a priority, and your eating pieces and stuff, right? So there's just so many pieces. And I love the fact, Jonathan, you told me recently. Uh, you might have to refresh me, Jonathan, but because of the extra profit in the business, which is not chump change, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars more profit per year, right? You paid off your Tesla, you paid off both motorcycles, you paid off your solar panels on both properties, you paid off or have a plan to pay off your mortgages within the next 26 to 36 months or something, Jonathan, right?
Yeah, within 36 months, they'll all be paid off. Yeah,
And you
4
will be
properties.
completely debt free.
I will
And
be.
you've got investment properties. You've got your main property in Oregon. Plus, you already talked about your place in Tucson. I mean, this is living the dream, Jonathan, right? And it's just an awesome thing to know that's possible. And one of the things we've talked about many times, John, that I so admire about you, but the many things is that how humble you are with the fact that you're doing this, and I'm happy to take some credit for being a bit of a catalyst in this process, right? For sure. But this is you. This is all you're doing, right? And your amazing team and everything you've done, and the fact that you guys are, so coachable. But I also want to reiterate, Jonathan, that in your humility, you're also quite easy to say, like, you're an amazing guy, but like no more amazing than anybody else, right? Like if this is possible for you, this is possible for anybody. Would you agree, Jonathan?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just a guy who, I'm a I consider myself a great chiropractor, and I care, and I pay attention. I'm really not afraid to be wrong. I admit when I do things wrong, and I do a lot that is wrong, but that teaches me to do things correctly. And I just want to say one thing, that in 2008 I got divorced, and it was a very difficult time in my life, and I lost my house at the time, and I didn't have, I didn't own any real estate. I lost everything, and so I was really starting out new. Um, I, I had a very little bit of retirement left that had to get split between my ex and I was really starting over. I was in an apartment, had a car and a car loan, and between 2008 and now, um, I own 4 properties. I drive a Tesla that's paid for. I put solar panels on both of my houses. Um, I have retirement income now that has built up that is going to take care of me throughout my retirement. And really what I want to get across is that a chiropractic practice is a huge, huge asset that you don't want to take for granted. It's a huge opportunity to turn into um, your biggest asset ever. And and my growth and your tutelage, Tom, has enabled me to expand my practice into the lifestyle that I really, really, really had dreamed of for a long time and had never been able to achieve. And so um, for you people that are listening to this, take time, have a phone call with Dr. Tom, see if you guys connect. He's got a huge amount of knowledge. His tools of organization that you can implement right away are amazing. They worked for me. You just follow them step by step, and you make them your own, and it will free you. It'll free you up and give you a great lifestyle.
Jonathan, I can't thank you enough for reaching out a few years ago to have that initial
Oh,
conversation.
no kidding. Me too.
And certainly our relationship is something that I'm very proud of and thankful of as well. So thanks for taking the time to chat today about this. And
Yeah, you're
again,
very welcome.
I'll just reiterate what Jonathan said. It's like, hey, if there's something about Jonathan's story that just strikes a chord, just reach out. It's a simple conversation, phone call, Zoom call, whatever. and be happy to see whether we could be of value to you and your family as well. So, Jonathan, again, thanks so much, and we'll chat soon. Okay.
You got it. Thank you, Tom.